At the University of Strathclyde, we believe ideas can change the world. Our community is improving health, safeguarding energy, and using quantum to push the boundaries of imagination. We're addressing climate change, where big ideas are needed more than ever. Our One Ocean Hub is working with 50 partners to transform the world's response to plastic pollution, rising sea levels, and overfishing. Together, we are empowering those who are reliant on the ocean for food, jobs, and transport, whilst protecting it for future generations. In Scotland, we are bringing together the best minds from business, industry, and government in the country's first innovation district. We're creating jobs and developing a place where shared ideas can thrive. Along the river, Strathclyde is at the forefront of the National Manufacturing Institute Scotland, an international centre to drive innovation and skills development. Whether we're bringing space data to Earth or developing fintech, our technology is built with people in mind. We're supporting our people by creating an inspiring campus and investing in learning and teaching, research and innovation hubs. We believe our people's health and happiness is at the heart of our success. We've transformed our wellbeing services, and our new Strathclyde sport facilities are powering elite athletes and those who are trying something new. As a socially progressive university, we are committed to openness. We're bringing people of all backgrounds together, making an impact on our students, our city, and our global community. It's a way of working that makes our alumni attractive to employers and draws partners from around the world. Because working together, big ideas can improve the world.
Hello everyone, live session. My name is Kevin. I'm a senior education counselor here at AHNZ Associates, and I will be your host of today. This week has started very good in England, Wales, and the whole of UK because we've seen the ease of lockdown. Now, myself and everyone in the UK can go into pubs, restaurants, and have meals. We can meet indoors with extended family members, and they've increased the number of people we can meet outdoors. However, while in the UK we are seeing a smooth transition to a sense of normality, we do, however, understand that our students and all of you viewers from all over the world in some countries are still hugely affected by the pandemic. Our heart goes especially to India, where the cases keep increasing and the situation there is getting a bit worse. But we are confident that, with the support of, different countries, India will be able to smoothly transition outside of its very worsening situation at the moment, and will gain to a sense of normality as well. For those of you who are joining our station for the first time, so today we will be welcoming the University of Strathclyde, which is one of our long-term partner at AHNZ Associates, and also we will have our guest speakers, Sherry and James, who will talk us through the and Jamie, who will be talking us through the different aspects of University of Strathclyde, which will cover the scholarships, what Strathclyde has to offer to students, applications, and as well scholarships. But before we go on to introduce the guest speaker, for those of you who are new to the session, let me give you a brief about AHNZ Associates. I personally have been working for AHNZ Associates for the past 4 years, and I've seen how the company has grown to reach out to students in every part of the world. We've since opened over 11 branches across the world, and we've been running for over 9 years now. AHNZ Associates aim to act as a bridge between the students and the university, and we firmly believe that every student has a personality and has a potential to grow within a specific university, which is why our dedicated counselor have a perfect mastery of all the university that we represent and can match the student with the specific universities where we firmly believe that the culture and the environment provided in that university can help the student grow into the amazing person they are trying to be. We've served over 140,000 students over the years, and we work with over 130 UK higher education institutions, including private and public universities and foundation pathway providers. All of our colleagues are well experienced, and we've received British Council training, and AHNZ is also a certified UK trained British Council agent. We provide an end-to-end service to all our students, which means that we try our best to see you not only throughout the admission process, but even when you're in university, we understand that sometimes you might have certain difficulties and you might want to reach out to us so that we can put you in the right direction. One of our greatest achievement is our visa success rate. We have an in-house compliance team that is dedicated and has a wealth of knowledge of the UK VI policy guidance, and it's able to guide students into that daunting visa process to make sure that everything is done in line with the UK VI policy guidance. Now, we love getting connected with students. So I would like to invite all students after the session to follow us on Facebook, on Instagram, and Twitter, where our marketing team usually share exciting content and keeps you up to date with all of the different things happening in the UK, changes in higher education sector, and also changes in UK VI policies as well. Now, without further delay, I would like to invite Sherry and Jamie to the floor. Hi, Sherry and Jamie. How are you doing today?
Hi, Kevin. Hi, I'm doing great. Thank you. Thanks for inviting us.
The pleasure is ours. And
Hi,
you, Jamie?
Kevin. Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. And thanks for having us on today. It's a pleasure to speak to you all.
Great. And are you both in Glasgow?
Yes.
Yeah.
Great. So how has the easing of the lockdown being in Glasgow? I mean, I know right now we can hug someone. So is there anyone you're looking forward to hug at the moment? Or have you hugged the person already?
I don't. Can we hug yet? I think Scotland's policy might be a bit different, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah. So it's changed a bit. So in Scotland, they've started to ease the lockdown, but Glasgow is different. Our rates of infection are slightly higher than the rest of the country. So we're still in a stricter lockdown for the next week or so. So hopefully by the end of next week, I can go home and I can hug my mum and some of my friends. But not at the moment in Glasgow. It's still not possible, but we're almost there.
Yeah.
Right.
But sorry, I was gonna say, because I live in the city centre, so I probably see all the hustle and bustle that you always get from Glasgow, which is great. And yeah, especially when the pubs and restaurants are all reopening, and I think the Glasgow Council has agreed to give the restaurants some extra spaces that used to be on-street car parks, and so the restaurant can actually put the chairs on the sort of the small roads and just to help their business to grow. But obviously, as we all know, that Glasgow it's a great city for like restaurants and social, so it's just really good, but really positive to see people coming out and meeting friends, and even till like around about 7 o'clock ish at night. And yeah, I actually had a meal with my friends. That was great. So yeah, in terms of city centre, that's all I think that's all I can see. Then obviously you're just looking very promising. We're just hoping that we could move down, like Jamie say, we can really hug people, and that'll be great.
Fantastic. Because here in London, we can obviously do more, in England especially, and also indoors restaurant. Yesterday I went into a big burger chain, and then it was refreshing to have some music and then be with friends, and all these exciting things that we haven't been able to do since November, I think, was it?
Yeah.
And I guess this also shows that the UK is transitioning smoothly to a sense of normality, and students should really be looking forward to continue their applications to the University of Strathclyde and to other universities in the UK, as the UK is continuously welcoming international students. So shall we get straight into the University of Strathclyde? And what the University of Strathclyde has to offer to students. So the first thing we would like to ask is, in terms of the city of Glasgow, how welcoming is it to international students? And in your perspective, what do students like most about studying in Glasgow?
Jamie, do you want to take that one? Because you're more local than me. Because I was going to say, I only moved to Glasgow about 2.5 years ago now. Yeah.
No, of course. Yeah, so Glasgow's a fantastic city, and it's known for being very friendly as well. So we've won lots of awards for being a friendly city. So Rough Guide magazine voted Glasgow as one of the friendliest cities in the world to visit. I'm sure Sherry can vouch for this as well. She obviously was an international student in the UK, but moved to Glasgow for work. And I'm sure she would say the same, that when you move to Glasgow for work, it was a very friendly, welcoming place. And you find that Glaswegian people and Scotland people in general are very friendly, they're very open-minded, they're always good fun, they're up for a laugh, they enjoy a good night out as well. And Glasgow itself is a very vibrant city, so it's a massive student population within the city of Glasgow. We've got 4 universities here and multiple colleges. So you find about 15 to 20% of the population are actually made up of students. So the city is very student orientated, so there's lots of fun and exciting things happening. Obviously, over the last year, it's been a little bit of a challenge, but that's obviously been the same for everywhere in the UK. But normally find the students obviously can all... Sorry, am I getting a little bit of sound back?
No, that's okay.
Okay, sorry. I can hear myself speaking, but it's okay. No, but Glasgow's a fantastic place, and obviously it's also been voted one of the best cities in the world to visit. I'm from a city called Stirling, which is north of Glasgow. So I came to Glasgow for university, and I made lots of friends, both Glaswegian students and also international students as well. I don't know how, Sherry, you found Glasgow coming for work purposes. Did you find it the same?
Yeah, definitely. I think, yes. I think from my personal experiences, definitely Glasgow is a very, very friendly place. And I find Glaswegian people are very funny. Yeah, even our colleagues, they got great sense of humor. Yeah, honestly, it was really fun, like working within our team, but also, going to the wider community, and then wherever you go. Obviously, I'm an international student. I was an international student myself, but obviously I'm foreign as well. So people would they would approach to you before you even ask for help. So if it seems like you're in sort of trouble or some difficulty, then so they just would offer help, and then that's been very, very great. And then especially for me, because Glasgow is it's almost like a brand new city to me, because I just live in Newcastle for quite many years. So I totally agree with what Jamie said. But I think one thing I like to mention is Glasgow is actually the UNESCO City of Music, if that's a fun fact. Yeah, because it's a music sort of person. Yeah, I think the statistic says we have around about 100, or during normal time, we have about 140 big or small music events every week. That's, even pubs, live music sessions. So altogether, it's actually great. Concerts, museums, if you're sort of that person, that's somewhere you definitely have to come. Another great thing is Glasgow is a great gateway to get you into the Highlands, like Loch Lomond, or if you want to go a bit further to Skye, or even the Fort William and Inverness. And so I think everywhere is sort of within about maximum 3 hours drive, but within an hour drive you get to places like Loch Lomond, just brilliant view. I actually went hiking yesterday, so it was it was great. Honestly, when people are saying that sometimes Scottish weather are very unpredictable. I'm actually, I have to say, because I used to live in England, it's all the same. Even in London or Manchester, it just rains, but they go away pretty quick as well. So I think just the cloud, and once it's gone, it's great. So I actually had a great view with the great weather, but obviously with one cloud coming in, I just quickly got away. But and I just think I love everything about Glasgow. It's great. Yeah.
Great. I mean, with the weather, I can definitely vouch for that. Yesterday we had sun, then straight away the rain came in, then cloudy weather. It's just a mess. But one thing I can take out from this is that Glasgow as a city is very lively for students, especially international students who want to discover the UK landscape. So, like you said earlier, we have access to different lakes and mountainous regions so that the student can explore, which is fantastic. Students always like, being in a city where they have all these opportunities to be able to engage with the local what is happening within their local area, and concerts as well. Who doesn't like a great concert show? Hopefully by September, we get back to normal, and international students coming to Glasgow and to the University of Strathclyde can definitely engage and get access to these concerts and all this amazing environment.
Yeah.
I know that right now the pandemic is obviously across every headline, and parents and students alike are always worried about how is the COVID situation in the university? What are the different measures that the university is putting in place to make sure that the students are in a very safe environment? So I'm not sure, would Sherry or Jamie would like to tell us more about what the university is currently doing to make sure that the environment is safe and COVID-free, and all measures are taken in place to make sure that the students have a COVID-free environment for their studies?
Yeah. Do you want me to pick that up, and then maybe you just? Or
yeah, okay. Yeah, of course. No, I'm happy to chip in on the go.
Yeah, I think because I live in the city centre, well, I don't know whether I mentioned, but because Strathclyde Uni is right in the city centre too, so it's like within walking distance to me, it's very convenient. So in terms of the whole measurement, what this university has done, obviously we put a lot of like the one-way system, and then we have actually built extra stairs for some of the buildings where it just used to be one stair goes way down and up, and then we've actually built like a separate one parallel to it, so you can so up and down, you have different ways. And similarly with all the buildings and with the gym, because I've been to the gym now because the gyms are open, and most of the other buildings we have the one-way system and sanitizing station right next to the door. And then you can just easily get access to it. And I think for everybody, for the students, although most of the students are still studying online, but we do have students who either need to get access to the laboratory, or for engineering students, they have to be back on campus, for some, group works and that kind of thing. So everybody needs to be on campus. We're given 3 face mask coverings for free, and you just have to go to one of the buildings to collect it. And other than that, I think. I was gonna say because it's all very we were very strictly following the Scottish government rules, so just to make sure we were following the guideline, but obviously that's because we put the students' well-being and the staff well-being as our priority. So that's all I can see from just walking around the campus. But I think obviously we were working on to get the student back to campus when it's free to do so as soon as we can. So I think that's from my perspective. Is there anything you would like to add on, Jamie?
Yeah, I think Sherry's pretty much covered it all there. I think one thing to highlight as well is the university's been able to sort of implement fast testing as well for students. So during the Christmas period, obviously the accommodation, we've got a lot of international students and home students obviously living and studying there. So the university was able to put on testing for all students as well before they return home, and also offer a COVID test to any student that feels they need one or is showing symptoms, just to ensure that we're staying on top of it and keeping all our students safe whilst they're on campus. But I think Sherry's pretty much covered everything there.
Great. Fantastic. So it's always great to see that the university is putting itself, out there to make sure that the students are in a very safe environment. And we get lots of queries of students who are always wanting to know what the measures that the university is taking to make sure that they are in a safe environment. Now, we are getting close to the September intake, and many students, some universities are telling us that some courses are already closed for September, right? Now, in terms of the admission at the University of Strathclyde, how is the September intake looking like?
For now, I think there are only certain courses that closed. For example, I think it's one of the courses in Haas. I can't remember the name on top of my head, but most of the courses are still open for international students. Although we do, because we have a limited amount of the student we can take on for Scottish students. So, but in terms of international students, we're always quite flexible. So we tend to take the applications all the way, probably I'd say until about clearing time, which is about end of July each time. You on a normal year, if it's a student already studying in the UK, we would be able to accept the August, week of August, but given the circumstances, I'm not sure where we are at now because of pandemic. They could be everywhere. They might go back to their home country or another country. So I don't know. But so just talking safely, I think like end of July would still be fine. But saying that, I still would recommend students to apply as soon as possible because if you apply in end of July, you might miss some scholarship opportunities. So we do have flexibility. Please, if you do have made up your mind, apply first, and then you can decide later.
Yeah. No, I think Sherry's right. I think the majority of programs are still open for application. The only one that comes to mind for me, I think, is an MSc in civil engineering with industry, because there's a placement component attached to that program. I think we have subscribed the full amount for that program, and I think potentially one of our counselling and psychotherapy programs may as well also have a limited number. But obviously, Sherry says we have an uncapped number of international places, but obviously they do fill up as we progress towards July, but the majority are still open to be applied for.
Great. All right. Good to see that the university still has a lot of places for students. And then students, you heard it from them. The University of Strathclyde welcoming international students, no cap on spaces. So get your applications and then let's make this happen for you. So looking at the University of Strathclyde, I know you talked about civil engineering and then health courses. How many schools are there at the University of Strathclyde?
We have, well, I don't think we call it school, but we have 4 main faculties. Yeah, within each big faculty, we have a different number of departments. That's what we call it. So 4 faculties, that's engineering, business school, science, and humanity or social science. But obviously within each faculty, and then for the different departments, for business school, for example, you have accounting and finance, and you have management. And for engineering, then you just have biomedical engineering or mechanical engineering or civil engineering. I think they're all different, or even architecture departments. So yeah, that's how we sort of categorize these things. Yeah, we don't call it school, but I think essentially the same thing. Yeah.
Great. So one of the things that I know about the University of Strathclyde is obviously the excellence of the business school, because it's Triple Crown accredited by SQuiz, AMBA, and ACCSB. Now, apart from the business school at Strathclyde, which other schools, or no, you said departments, right? Department is the University of Strathclyde noted for its global excellence?
Yeah. So I think the business school is obviously one of the key ones. Obviously, being triple accredited, top 1% of business schools. So is it one of the major focuses? But also things like engineering. So we have 8 departments in engineering, like Sherry mentioned, and 7 of those are in the UK top 10. So things like architecture, biomedical engineering, civil, mechanical, aerospace engineering. So they're all very, very strong departments, all in the top 10 in the UK. Also things like electrical and electronic engineering, we're top 100 in the world for that as well. So a very strong department. Then looking at things like some of our science programs, so things like pharmacy, we're ranked 3 or 3rd in the UK for pharmacy. Things like forensic science, I think we're about 1st or 2nd in the UK. And then obviously things like in humanities, we've got things like the law school as well. We're top 20 in the UK for our law school. So we do have quite a wide range of different programs, all ranked very highly just now within the UK rankings.
Great. Yeah. Amazing.
I think,
Did you want to add something, Sherry?
Yeah, I was going to sort of wrap up what Jamie said, because obviously I think that's what Strathclyde's position is now, is most of our courses are actually very, very highly ranked. But I think it's because sometimes student, when he encounters a name, they're not familiarized with the name, and sometimes they're unsure. But actually, if you do a bit of research, and you realize there's a lot of programs from Strathclyde University is very, very heavily ranked, especially looking at the rankings for the specific course. Like Jamie say, for forensic science, we are actually one of the only two in the UK that actually teaches forensic science. because it's very unique courses, and then we are the other university that teaches it. But also education studies and education school, we're number 3 in the UK as well. So I think it's really, it depends what the student would want to do, what they focused on, is if it's an overall ranking or if it's a world ranking, times ranking, because there's so many rankings out there. But I definitely say that Strathclyde's got its really, really good strength in terms of the course delivery, because ultimately, I understand you go for the name, but ultimately it's something you can learn from this course and take away to put into your career. I think that's what's the best practical thing you can do as an international student, unless you just wanted a certificate. I think I'm just talking that from my own experience, because obviously I was an international student myself, so I always wanted something that it could benefit my future career, even if you want, just either you want to find a job in the UK or take away to the home country.
Great. And definitely when students get in touch with us, one of the key focus is career. And I love the fact that you mentioned about how the courses at Strathclyde are made in terms of with the career of the student in mind. And one thing I also know about the University of Strathclyde is that the Strathclyde Career Services has been voted in the UK on the top 4 among students. So with this, can you give us a bit more information about the different career services? How is one the different career services? And the second thing would be, how does the university ensure that the students leave Strathclyde with really industry relevant skills, if I can put it that way?
Okay. I'll kick off with the career service. So you're right, they are a fantastic team. It's about maybe 8 or 10 people, I think, in total that work solely on the career service. And I think you're right. We always say to students that when they first arrive, if they're doing a master's program, to try and engage with the career service as early as possible. Obviously, for undergraduate students, it's slightly different because they have 3 or 4 years of study. But for master's students, we always say engage as early as possible. And they are a fantastic team. They do a whole host of different things. They do things like CV writing. They do things like support with application writing, help with your CV, psychometric testing as well. So they help support students with all of these things, so they're prepared for applying for jobs when they finish their studies, but also throughout their studies as well. They also have a job portal as well, where companies can post their jobs, and obviously they can then help students apply for jobs on the job portal. Just to give myself as a good example, I was a student at Strathclyde, and I did business studies, and in my 4th year, I started applying for graduate schemes, and eventually I applied for a job with a company called SSE. You may have heard of them, the big energy company, and they posted their job through the career service at the university. So I then applied for that, and then obviously the career service supported me with the application. They helped me through the process, and thankfully I was lucky enough to obviously get the job. But without that, I maybe got the extra support. So it's a really valuable team. I'd obviously always strongly encourage students to obviously engage with them as early as possible. Obviously, just now everything's on virtually, it's online, so they've been doing a lot of counselling sessions over Zoom as well. They're doing lots of webinars as well, and obviously bringing in partners from industry as well to speak to students. So it is a very valuable team as well, and a lot of students get a lot of real benefit from it. The other thing I would say as well is, the service is also available to students up to 5 years after they've graduated as well. So especially now with international students who can stay for 2 years with a new graduate visa, if they don't get a job, after completing their graduation, they can still engage with the career service. They can still apply for the jobs in the job portal and access all their services. So it's a fantastic thing to do, and obviously gives students a bit more time to benefit from the career service.
Good.
I think Jamie's covered everything I wanted to say. But I think another thing is because Jamie's used to studying Strathclyde, but not as an international student. So I think because as Jamie mentioned, that they do like a weekly webinar that's focused on CV writing, covering letter, and they do some mock interview test sessions with students. That is something I would definitely recommend international students to do, because I actually did that when I was an international student. It definitely helped. It actually helped me got my first job a long time ago. But I actually, because that was very full. Because looking for a job in the UK is quite different to a certain extent to compared to your home country. So it's all, you need to know what the employers are looking at, and then what the skills you're lacking, and something you can improve on. So so I think that those little workshops are definitely very, very helpful. And I think there's another thing I want to mention is, so you must have heard the career fairs, like the big ones there. So for Scotland, the biggest one is a Scottish Graduate Fair, and so it's basically all the Scottish employers who come together in this fair every year, and then we are actually the host for it every year. So it's the biggest job fair in Scotland. So obviously you will get a lot of opportunity, going to the stand with your interested employers. So that's just something I would also recommend, and just also be good to spread the news out, that people knows about it, just to take advantage of it. Yeah, that's all I wanted to add.
Thank you very much, Sherry, for adding those things. And it's definitely great to see that the university provides all these career services to international students. Job hunting, or understanding the job market from India or from Bangladesh or from Nigeria is very different from the UK. So these career services are really important for students, and it's great to see that the University of Strathclyde is one of the top in the UK in providing these services to students. Now, one of the things when students hear about career, obviously they think about master's and bachelor's degree student. But one of the things also that we can note from the University of Strathclyde is that it is research excellence. For example, the university was top 20 in the UK for research, according to the Times Higher Education, in the Research Excellence Framework in 2014. Can you please give us more information about research excellence at Strathclyde, and how is Strathclyde able to build, world-class researchers from its different departments?
Yeah.
Do you want me to go, Sherry?
Go on then.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so I think obviously Strathclyde has a very good reputation for our research, and I think a lot of that goes down to in terms of the academic staff that we have at the university, and the ways in which they teach, and the facilities that we have at the university. So we are actually we have at Strathclyde the Technology Innovation Centre, which is the first district in Scotland. So it's the first of its kind. So there's a lot of exciting research.
Sorry,
projects.
James. Sorry for cutting it. You said, because you blocked out a bit. It's called what? How is it called?
Oh, sorry. It's called the Technology and Innovation Centre.
Right.
It's part of the first innovation district in Scotland. So Strathclyde pioneered this, and it's in collaboration with a lot of industry partners as well, and also research associations, and obviously our academic staff as well. So there's a lot of collaboration going on there between industry and our academic staff. So a lot of our students benefit from this process, and are also highly involved in this as well. So there's lots of exciting things going on. We also have a number of institutes as well. So we have a manufacturing institute as well, which is part of the engineering faculty as well. And again, it's in partnership with a lot of industry. A lot of students, PhD students and research associates will get exposure to industry as well. I don't know if Sherry has anything she would like to add on that.
No, I don't want to get the term wrong, but I believe we were part of the research for the COVID, for the vaccine as well. Well, obviously we contributed to it, but I don't really want to go too much details in case I got it wrong, but we're definitely part of it. So we're just contributing to that. So yeah, just to, to help to get this COVID, out of the way as soon as we can. Yeah.
Great. So obviously, if the universities engage within research on the vaccines, or ways in which, whether it is public health, it means that the health faculty or the health department at the University of Strathclyde is definitely engaging into solving real-world problems, to help advance humanity or our societies as a whole. So students, if you are interested to studying health and life sciences, the University of Strathclyde is definitely the place to go. We've talked about career services and research, and I'm sure many students who will be looking at this video will be wondering, what are the general entry requirements for undergraduate? I'm not sure if Jamie or Sherry, one can take undergraduate, postgraduate, and research in general, and just give us a brief about the general entry requirement.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Do you want us to focus on specific countries or sort of academic systems? Just what's the best?
Let's start with English first of all for undergraduate and postgraduate.
English qualification. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so in terms of English, we obviously require an IELTS certificate. So we look for undergraduate and for postgraduate students overall, and it does vary from some subjects. So typically, it's an overall score of 6.5 with no component below 5.5. However, there are some programs where they would only look for an overall score of 6 and no component below 5.5. But there's only a few of them. But the majority would be 6.5 with nothing below 5.5. We do accept other English qualifications, so things like TOEFL, Pearson's, Cambridge as well. And if you go into our university website, you can find a full list of all the different requirements for those. What's new this year is we've started to accept Duolingo as well, but it must be dated within 1 year. So obviously we've introduced this as a sort of kind of during this difficult period where a lot of students can't access IELTS tests and other English examinations. In terms of other English conditions for postgraduate students, so if you're studying in the UK, then obviously we accept that as evidence of English language. If we have students who have studied overseas, like India, for example, where they study in English, we would accept a medium of instruction letter to confirm they were taught in English, and that would satisfy the English condition. This would be same for countries like Nigeria, Ghana as well. And then I think that pretty much covers it. I think other countries. You got any more to add, Sherry?
No, I think you've even covered UKI. Yes, I saw there was a question asking for Duolingo about 80. Should I answer that one? Yes, I think because Jamie already mentioned that generally we asking for 6.5 with no part below 5.5. So give you an equivalence on that for Duolingo. So 6.5 with 5.5, that would be 110 for overall and 90 for each element, right? So if it's 80, then it really depends on what you've been asked on your offer letter. Yeah, so if it's 6.0, 5.5, that's 190. Does that make sense? Yeah, so 80, I don't think 80 would be enough for any of the individual band, because the individual band 5.5 would have been 90 in Duolingo. But you can still apply for the pre-sessional course, but I think the next one is in it's next week. I don't think you can still apply, but might be a bit late. But the next one is 21st of June. So you might still be able to apply for that. That's the 8 weeks pre-sessional course. So we call it module 2 and 3. So if you on your offer letter, if you ask for 6.5, 5.5, then you need a Duolingo for overall 180 for each element to be able to apply for the pre-sessional. And the pre-sessional courses are all online this year. So if that helps, but ultimately it depends on the IELTS score that's asked required on your offer letter, then we have the equivalence. Yeah.
And to all those viewing us now, so if you have any specific questions or you would like to make an application to the University of Strathclyde, after the live session, we'll be going to a Zoom session where you will have the opportunity to ask specific questions to Sherry and Jamie. So please stay with us and make sure that you join us in the Zoom session to make sure that you can ask your questions to our University of Strathclyde guest of today. So English entry requirements sorted. Now, looking at postgraduate students, because we generally tend to get postgraduate students inquiries for the University of Strathclyde at AHNZ Associates, because I know already that for undergraduate, generally you would accept UK A levels, right? Or the student has to do a foundation. So that one we have an idea. So with regards to postgraduate students and research students, what are the general entry requirements that you look for postgraduate courses and then for research courses?
Right, okay, I'll go for this one. Maybe if something I missed, then Jamie, you can just I think generally for postgraduate, we're definitely looking for an undergraduate degree within your home country if it's an overseas student. So I think that would be so just normally just undergraduate in your country, that would be fine. But I think in terms of the specific entry requirement, we do have different one for different country. For example, if it's a China, then we're talking about 70 to 75. But if it's Nigeria or South African, I think you're talking about 2.2. But that would be sort of the equivalence with the UK degree. And if it's GPA based, then I think it's normally 3 out of 4 or 4 out of 5. Yeah. So that's postgraduate taught. If it's for a research degree, or we call it PhD, I mean, yes, you would need a master's degree first, but and another very important thing is you need to have your research proposal ready, because it's ultimately the decision from that supervisor that whether this supervisor would be able to accept your research proposal. If it does, if it's a good fit with the current research area he's in or he's planning, so if that's a good fit, then you can just simply go through an application process. It'll be quite easy. In terms of the English language, is probably going to be the same as we just talked about. So academic wise, I think that's what I meant. Oh yeah, if you've got a UK degree, then it's very easy. Just we all normally accept 2.2 for UK if you've studied in the UK. But if you've done pre-masters, we also accept pre-masters as well. But it's too long if I just go through them all. So yeah, like you say, like Kevin say, if you have a specific question, you can join us later on for the one-to-one. I'll be able to have a look for you.
And definitely I can add that when it comes to PhD applications to the University of Strathclyde, once you found a supervisor, the rest of the admission process is very smooth, because I know I and Sherry, we've been communicating a lot about a few PhD applications. Yeah, but once you've been able to identify a specific supervisor and he's accepted to supervise you, then the rest of the admission process is very straightforward and easy. A student was asking if during the admission process for some courses at Strathclyde, are there any extracurricular activities that are requested from students? Do you have some of these things in the application process at the University of Strathclyde?
Yeah, so I think with regard to that, in terms of like extracurricular activities, if you're applying for a program, you have to submit a statement of purpose, an SOP. So obviously anything in that, any additional experience a student has, any hobbies or interests they have, that's only going to enhance their application. So we take a holistic approach. Obviously, we look at the qualifications, the references, the English requirement, but then also the statement of purpose. So if a student has any interest, if they're involved in any projects or volunteering work, of course, 100%, please include that in the application or the SOP, and they select to consider that as well. In terms of additional things, there's maybe things like architecture programs. Sometimes you have to submit a portfolio as well to show that you have some sort of creative spark as well, and obviously you can showcase that as part of a portfolio. But the majority of the programs, it would just be the SOP, and that's where you can then detail some more specific information about yourself.
And yeah, definitely, if a student, I think you will agree with me, if a student is trying to apply to the university, it's important to include your full profile to show the university why you should be taken into the course and, why you're the best fit for the course. So definitely, because I know there's a student who put on the chat, if can they put their publication? Yes, I think Sherry, if a student is trying to do a research degree, it's important that if they have any publications, they can put it in. It would help weigh their application further. And also, if they are trying to apply for any specific course, and maybe, adding their computer skills, for example, would be important as well to showcase that they are the right fit for the course. Yeah, definitely there on that. Did you want to add something on that, Sherry?
No, that definitely helps. I mean, the more you did in your life, in your experience, would definitely help with your overall application strength. But I mean, I wouldn't say there's some specific thing we're looking for unless it's stated on our website. So while I was doing it, so I went on the website trying to find. It's a good practice for you if you're interested in that course. Just go on our main website, find the course, and then click on the entry requirements. And then if there's something specifically they really want you to have, and then they will put it there. Because otherwise, like you said, it's just all extras add-ons to make your applications more stand out, obviously. Yeah. So yeah, well, definitely put them on if you've got that. But if you haven't got any publications, for example, number of publications, that's not a problem at all, because you're applying to study. We don't really want to take on a student who's already know everything. So ultimately you want to learn. So we probably want students to know something enough for us to teach you to take on to the next level. Does that make sense? Yeah. So don't need to feel like you need to have all the knowledge in the world to study this one, because it might not be challenging for you either. Yeah.
Great. Amazing stuff. So we've covered about the entry requirements, different university aspects. I know one of the things that most students will be interested in is to know about the tuition fees and the different discounts or scholarships available at the University of Strathclyde. And I know there are quite a few scholarships available at the University of Strathclyde. So if you can please share with us what are the scholarships available for September 2021, and if there are any deadlines, can students still apply for scholarships?
Yeah, of course. I'm happy to take this one, Sherry. I've got a note of it in front of me because I thought this question might be asked. So there's lots of different tuition fees and there's lots of different scholarships. So it makes our job very easy. Not really, because there's so many different ones. So in terms of tuition fee, it does vary. So from undergraduate students, it can be anything from about £15,000 to about £21,000 for undergraduate students. Now, at the top end of that scale, you'd probably have your engineering programs and your science programs at the higher end for undergraduate. And then at the lower end, a lot of the business programs and then the humanities programs at the lower end, about the £15,000, £16,000 mark. In terms of postgraduate fees, it ranges from about £15,000 up to about £24,500. This time, engineering is at the top end, and then obviously our business programs, accounting and finance, are at the sort of £22,000, £23,000, £24,000 mark, and then science is around about the middle, about £18,000, £19,000, and then things like humanities, so your law programs, English, creative writing, at the sort of £15,000 mark. In terms of the MBA program, it's about £31,000 for the year. And if you're looking at living expenses for the UK, for an undergraduate student, we're looking at about £9,000 to £11,000 for the year's worth of study, and for a postgraduate student, about £10,000 to £12,000. And that's everything included from accommodation, food, social, books, and other expenses that you would need. In terms of the scholarships, so we've got one for each faculty, so we've got 4 faculties, and obviously split by undergraduate and postgraduate. So for engineering, at undergraduate, it's a 10% discount off each year of study, and then 15% for postgraduate students. Now, there's an application process for this as well. So once you have a valid offer for a programme, you're then entitled to apply for the scholarship, and you can do that online. I think the deadline is still not in for another couple of months, so I think there's still time to apply for engineering. Sherry might correct me, but I think there's still plenty of time.
Yeah, still time, yeah.
Yeah, still time, yeah. Then they have humanities, which is £3,500 per year for undergraduate, and then £4,000 for postgraduate. There isn't an application process for humanities. You'll just be automatically considered once you apply for the scholarship, and you'll be notified within a couple of weeks after you've applied and you've received your offer if you've been successful or not. For science, for undergraduate and postgraduate, it's between £2,000 and £5,000. Again, it's an application online. You can get that on the application portal for scholarships on the website. And then for business school, we have £2,000 for undergraduate students, and then a £7,000 scholarship and a £10,000 scholarship for postgraduate students. Now, the £10,000 scholarship is really for students who have achieved equivalent to a first class in their bachelor's, and it is very competitive. So we have a few of these scholarships available. But then below that, we have a £7,000 scholarship, which is open to all students who have an offer for the programme. And again, you have to apply for these scholarships online once you have an offer. And then for the MBA, we have a £15,000 and a £10,000 scholarship available. So lots of information there.
I was going to say, I hope Kevin's already written down everything. I got confused. Yeah. That's what Jamie meant by not making our work so much easier. No, but yeah, there's so many out there. But I think I might want to add on, there was one Jamie actually mentioned, it's for the humanities and social science postgraduate scholarship for £4,000. They do have a deadline that used to be May, but they've literally just extended to the end of July. So Amazing. Yeah, so if you pay for the £2,000 deposit before the end of July, then you will be automatically receiving this £4,000 scholarship. However, if you pay for the deposit after that date, it's the end of July, I believe you get £3,000. So you still get quite a lot of money, but obviously the earlier you pay for it, the more scholarship you get. So I think this is just the very new information that we just got in like on Monday. Or because I just had a look at our email, so I thought I'd spread this amazing news out. So it's a lot of money, because you think about 4,000, and then normally for a HAS, for humanities social science postgraduate course, it's ranged about 15-16 grand. So it's actually taking quite a lot of money off. Yeah. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you very much, Sherry and Jamie. That still love hearing about scholarship, and boy, Strathclyde has a lot of scholarships. And it's definitely good to see, and a wide range of scholarships accessible to students from every department. Yeah, students love hearing that. And the extended deadline, because most universities can have deadline quite short, 31st of March, April. Most of the scholarships at different universities are already closed, so it's definitely refreshing for students who are still deciding to know that Strathclyde is open for applications for scholarships, even that late in July, August. Yeah, thank you very much for that information. Now, students have spoken about placement. Are there any postgraduate courses at the University of Strathclyde that include placement?
Go on then, Jamie.
Okay. Yeah, we get asked about this quite a lot, and obviously placements are always very popular among students. But the majority of our masters are 1-year masters, and they are obviously quite intensive programs. But there are a couple that they do have placements attached. So what I mentioned earlier is MSc Civil Engineering with Industry. So this is an 18-month program instead of 12, and as part of that, there's an industry placement as well. So the department does help students apply for these placements as well, and then students are also welcome to try and find their own if possible as well. So the majority of students on this program will find a placement. If for whatever reason a student didn't find a placement, they would complete a research project instead on campus. But the majority of students do find placements. There's different sorts of placements in terms of things like I think MSc Counselling and Psychotherapy. I believe there's a sort of summer project there as well, where they work with local services as well, like the NHS, third-party organisations as well on placements, and then things like our pharmacy programs as well. At the moment, I think because of the COVID pandemic, it's been difficult for students to go on placement, and that's the same for things like our orthotics and prosthetics programs. It's been difficult for students to have patient-facing semesters, but I believe that's to change once things obviously improve after the pandemic. I'm trying to think of other ones. We don't have a massive amount of programs with placements. I don't know if I've missed any, Sherry. Do you want to mention?
Yeah, I think there is another one. It's Advanced Mechanical Engineering. That is an 18-month program as well. So it comes with a 6-month placement. Obviously, well, that's not guaranteed, but like Jamie said, the department will definitely help students to get to find this placement. Yeah. So I think that's for UK. You've mentioned civil engineering, and so another one is advanced engineering. So for business, we do have another one that's about business analysis and counseling. Sorry. Yeah. No, yeah, MSc Business Analysis and Counselling. That course, you do have a 3-week work progress. That's you get that opportunity to take. But obviously it's a short one. But like Jamie said, the reason of that is because it's quite intense course for a master's degree. Yeah. I do like to mention the course for marketing department MSc, although it's not a placement. But it's essentially what you do as a placement, although it's not paid. So basically, our marketing department ranked number 2 in the UK. Yeah. So and then their course is very, very, very practical. The reason is that the second semester for the whole master program, the second semester students would be put into different groups, and then each group will be allocated to either a local company. Well, most of them will be a local company, would be like a Morrison, for example, or some other companies. Then as a group, what you need to do is you need to identify the marketing problems within these companies, and then you would sort of make suggestions using what you've learned to sort of to suggest and how to improve this. And then the whole process you need to be reflected in the essay and also maybe a group presentation. So that's what you do for the whole semester. So it's not like you just attending a lecture. That again goes back to the topic when you say Strathclyde is a place we use for learning. That's why, because when we design the course, we make sure it's practical enough for students to get the experience and to just take it away to put in their career. So I think, although that's not a placement, I know, but I thought I'd like to tell students, because when I first known about this, I was thinking I would like to be part of it. Although it might be a bit challenging because it does involve a lot of interpersonal skills, but it was definitely beneficial for students who considering to especially for their future work. Just thought, yeah, I just remember that, so I thought I'd share that with you.
I can definitely agree with you. Any opportunity to have some work experience is definitely an advantage to your degree, and especially when it's a UK work experience. But what I note most importantly is the fact that you highlighted is for courses offered with placement. If the student is not offered the placement, then they can definitely do a research project within the university, and this is wonderful, because some universities and some students in other universities, they are high entry requirement to be able to do the placement, and when they are not able to get the placement, then they get their visa curtailed. So if the student can get a research project, then that is very fantastic, and I'm sure students will be very happy to hear such things from the University of Strathclyde. Now, thank you very much for sharing all this information with us. And if there's any advice that you would like to give students who are looking forward to making applications, what advice would you give in general to a student looking at the University of Strathclyde and then is thinking about making an application, so that we can...
I think what I'd say, if you're looking for a university that's well ranked and in general, and obviously higher ranked in courses, and located in a big city that you get to access to everything or your life, and also it's not expensive compared to London or even Manchester or Birmingham, Glasgow is definitely your best choice. Yeah, so that's my experience.
Yeah.
What about you, Jamie? Anything to add?
Yeah, just obviously echoing what Sherry said. Glasgow is a fantastic place to live and study. I can vouch for that, moving from a different city. There's lots on offer for different people, whether you're into sports or music or theatres. There's lots of different things. There's a good vibe around the city. And I think obviously, it's free to apply as soon as possible in order to apply for some of the scholarships that we have. Obviously, there are some deadlines, but they do award them on a rolling basis. So obviously, the sooner students apply, they can apply for the scholarships, etc. as well. But yeah, pretty much what Sherry said.
Fantastic. Well, thank you both very much. I can see echoes from the marketing team who are telling me that we're almost coming to the end of the session. So I'd just like to take this opportunity to thank Sherry and Jamie for coming with us today and for sharing all the exciting things happening at the University of Strathclyde, and also give us all this information about, the amazing support, career services, and the courses offered at the university. My biggest takeaway was the fact that Strathclyde is an amazing city, and also the university has this award-winning UK career services that can really help students get the industry relevant and understand the UK market, so that once they finish their course, they can definitely be more confident in approaching companies to ask for jobs. The university as well has done a lot of work in terms of flexible entry requirement. The university do understand that with the pandemic, some IELTS centers may not be open, so they've been flexible in terms of accepting Duolingo test and other tests as well, like the OETEC test, and entry requirements as well. PhD students, world-class research universities, and once you've found your research supervisor, the admission process is very smooth and everything goes quite well. The university as well has made sure that students are in a COVID-safe environment with one-way system and sanitizer spots across the university. Well, that was definitely a lot of information, and I'm sure many viewers and students at the moment have loads of questions, specific questions to ask to both of you guys. So I would like to invite all the students to join us in the one-to-one session, where you can ask specific questions to either Sherry or Jamie, and then you can have most of your question answers. And again, our counselors will be there to help you with your admission process to make sure that everything goes smoothly so that you can come to the UK and then engage with your studies and achieve your dreams. So on this note, I would like to say thank you again to you both, and then I'll look forward to seeing you in the live session. But before we go, can you please share with the students one of the things you like about working with AHNZ Associates, just to close the session?
Oh, I definitely, I would definitely recommend AHNZ because you guys are always very professional, and then communication is very effective. So basically, we only, we attend our the events that's organized by our trust agent. So yes, from me, I would definitely recommend AHNZ.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly the same. Obviously, I've only worked briefly with you guys. I've always found you very knowledgeable of the market, very friendly as well, and easy to work with. And obviously, you've got some fantastic services and events as well for students to engage in and find out more about universities as well.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for those words. Yes, Sherry, please.
No. Just saying, because of pandemic, obviously we can't travel. But obviously, when we can travel, I'm sure Jamie will be all over in the AHNZ or the offices within South Africa, and also our other colleagues in Bangladesh. We'll definitely be able to see you guys. So we're just looking forward to that. Yeah.
Yeah, but definitely we look forward to receiving and welcoming you in our offices. And thank you again both very much. So now I'll put an end to the live session, and then students, please tune in into the Zoom one-to-one session where you will have an opportunity to speak to Sherry and Jamie both. Thank you again, everyone, and then see you soon in the live session. Bye-bye.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Kevin.
Kevin. See you soon. Thank you.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.